Namaskar friends. My name is Madhusudan Rao. I am a chartered accountant. Today we are going to discuss the topic One Nation, One Election, which is predominantly being discussed in the mainstream media as well as the social media. We will understand the topic in detail. What do you mean by One Nation, One Election? What are the benefits? What are the pros and cons of it? What are that, whether it is a new concept or it's a old concept, and we will understand in detail the topic after the end of this session. Before understanding the concept one nation one election, let us discuss what are the types of elections India normally held. One is direct election, another one is indirect election. Direct election means the election in which the general public go for voting, and indirect election is general public will not vote in the election, but the MLAs and MPs who are elected by the general public will in turn vote for the candidates. We will see, if you see direct elections, for example MLAs are being elected by the general public, and MPs, member of parliament, which are elected by the general public, and you can say councillors of the local bodies, ward members, they are elected by the general public. These three are called direct elections, we can say. And when you discuss with the indirect elections, you can see President of India elections and Vice President elections, Mayor election. All these elections they will not vote for directly to the President, but MLAs, MPs will vote for the President, not the general public. So these are called indirect elections. Direct elections involve much more resources as well as cost, but indirect elections are nominal cost and it will not be requiring much resources. It will end in 2 days or 3 days time. So if you the concept one nation one election, when it is taken up, it is only relating to the direct elections where the general public vote in the elections. This is the where we discuss about only direct elections. We talk about one nation one election. So if you see that one nation one election, now why it is being discussed now, what is the context it is being discussed in the media very recently. There is one reason is special session of parliament for 5 days from September 18th to 22nd has already been called. Another reason is the committee, high powered committee, has been formed under the chairmanship of Dr. Ramnath Kovind, who is our former president. Under his chairmanship there is a committee formed, and the committee has taken up this issue, and what is the modalities, what are the pros and cons, all these things will be discussed by the committee, and committee will make the recommendations. And there are many predictions are going on that this special session of parliament, the one nation one election bill will be taken up for discussion. So that is why we are going to discuss this topic now. And if you see the concept is two types, you can say. Direct elections, as I told you, MP elections, MLA elections, and local body election. These three elections can be conducted as a single time. Single time in the sense it can be multiple phases. It is not on a single day. That we have to keep in mind. Another thing is, another kind of way of understanding it is MPs and MLAs. Only two elections, not the local bodies. So when Mr. Prime Minister Modi has spoken about one nation, one election, it could be perhaps these two MPs and MLAs, and thereafter we can bring the local bodies elections also into the one nation, one election concept. Okay, and we will see the historical references of this one nation, one election. It is not being discussed for the first time now. It has been so many days, for so many years. The concept is in the public domain, and various times, various people has taken up this topic for discussion and made recommendations and expressed their opinions and thoughts. We will see what is the how when it has been taken up and what is the background of it. For the first time in 1983, Election Commission has given a report and discussed about this one nation one election recommendation. They said that frequency of elections will come down, the cost of elections also will come down. They made on these lines, they made recommendations, and thereafter in the same year, Law Commission has taken up this year and made detailed analysis by the Law Commission. And 1999, Atal Bihari Vajpayee is very well is the well supporter of this concept of one nation one election, and he has taken up this in the parliament as well, but it could not be implemented for various reasons. And in 2017, Niti Aayog has given a paper on the elections. They have presented their views on that. And in 2018, Law Commission has given a working paper based on that how this can be implemented one nation one election. So again in the 2016, Modi has given to a private channel an interview. He has raised this topic of one nation one election. He said that it should be considered, it would be good for the nation to have that. And in 2019, Modi's independence, the Prime Minister Modi's independence speech also, he has mentioned that it could be considered and it would be good for the nation. So these are the various times, various commission or various people has mentioned it, and they have given favorable opinion towards this one nation, one election concept. So earlier, one more thing we have to see that whether any time we have had an elections of MPs and MLAs elections at a time in the country. It is not a new one. It has happened because when after our independence in the first elections 1951 and 52, the MLAs and MPs elections has had together one election has happened, and thereafter 1957 same MLAs and MPs elections has happened, and in 1962 as well it has happened, and 1967. These are the four times every 5 years MPs election and MLAs elections together happened. It is not a new time. So thereafter what happened is various reasons the state government has been dissolved and has been the president rule have been imposed many number of times if you see. So because of various reasons, the timing of the state elections has taken a different it has fallen in a different time period of elections. So this is what happened. So it has already happened, MPs and MLAs elections. It is not a new one, but thereafter it has gone after 67. It has never happened both MPs and MLAs elections across. But even now it happened some 5 states, and the Loksabha elections has happened. 7 state assemblies and 1 Lok Sabha elections happened in the past. So, but all states of state legislatures as well as parliament elections has not happened after 1967. This is the historical background. Now we will see that what are the pros and cons of this once you go for one nation one election. What are the things can happen, what are the pros and cons, what are the benefits or demerits of this concept? We will see one by one. See, first one is the cost of holding elections will come down heavily, because one time, when it is conducted at one time, you need not move the resources to one place to another, and you need not incur the cost, the election related cost, separately for each state. So you can save a lot of money, and this money is not one time saving. It Whenever these elections happen, each 5 years, whatever saving we are going to do, it's going to be a big thousands of crores you will save. Definitely, it is not a small money. So this there are many estimations are that how much you can shave. There are many predictions are there, many estimations are there. What is the cost can be saved? It is a big money in thousands of crores that can be saved in every 5 years. It is not one time saving. Every 5 years, these thousands of crores you can save once you go for one nation, one election. And another thing is, once election code of conduct is imposed before the elections, wherever state election or central election, during that period, you cannot do developmental activities. Government will be full on election mode. All leaders will be in election mode. Country will be in election mode. So the development activities will be stopped because code of conduct is in place. You cannot do major developmental initiatives. So because of this, the development also gets slowed down, and time will be wasted for 3 to 4, maximum 3 months. You can say 3 months time will be wasted for, because wherever elections are going on, this will be a waste of time for the development activity. It will not be there. So this is another reason. One more thing is, major policy decisions cannot be taken by the government. As I told you, any policy to be implemented, it should be, they will not see the development of the country. They will see only election benefits, whether this policy helps us in elections. This is the thought process will be going on in each and every political parties and their leaders mind. So they will not put the development or the future good of the country in front. They will take, instead of that, they will see temporary benefits. So this is another one where the major path breaking initiatives definitely cannot be taken during the election. Everywhere election, if you see that one, separate elections are there every year. Last 30 years, if you see, every year there are elections. One state, two state, three state, four states, or five states, six states. Again, loksabha elections every year. Last 30 years, yeah, in one or the other state, elections are happening, and it is hampering the development and major policy initiatives in that region or the full country when loksabha elections happens. This has to be kept in mind. Another thing is freebies. The freebies will be given every elections to who the voters in their favor. So this is again, they will not see the impact of those things, and they will always, every year they will see, and other parties, one party they will give freebies, and other party in competition they will give freebies. They will not look for the long term benefits of the country. This is again election mode, means this is the people, the leaders of our political parties thinks on that lines. Another major drawback of repeated elections is that the social fabric of the nation gets affected. If you see, once election mode comes, people talking about, they will divide the people like on caste lines, community lines, region lines, regional language lines. On the basis of language, on the basis of religion, on the basis of caste, people gets divided, and they will give highly charged statements that we need not discuss now. People are very well aware of it. In the election mode, people will go, and the social fabric of the country is getting affected very severely during those times. Once in 5 years, anything can happen. Every year happens, every year these things are happening. It will be very difficult for the nation to grow. And diversion of the manpower. Once, if you want to conduct elections, so you need lot of resources in terms of security personnel, in terms of election staff. If you see, the school teachers are heavily deployed in the election duties. So whatever regular duties are happening, that will get affected every year. Whenever there is election, it is going to happen. These are all resources. Mobilization happens every year basis, one way or the other, one state or the other. Definitely it is going to be of manpower or the other resources which are doing the which are relevant, relating to these elections. Another thing is leaders, their occupation of their mind on the and in the view of elections, all election mode, definitely their concentration and how to win, how to bring leaders, these are the things they will think instead of the country. If every 5 years it happens, once elections are over, next 5 years, the leaders, political parties, or the government officials, they will concentrate only on the development of the country. Definitely, it will be much more helpful. So this is what the benefits, and we can see the demerits of this. One is, you can say that there are a lot of voting machines or EVMs, that is electronic voting machines, necessary, and which present capacity will not meet. Definitely, it is temporarily, it is okay. 6 months, once 6 months, the EVMs can be produced within the country, and there may be, according to the former election commission, we may need extra another 1.5 to 2 million EVMs to conduct the elections at a time. That is one nation, one election concept. So we can definitely very well produce those required election number of election EVMs, and we can deploy them. It is not a big deal. Another thing is, there are regional parties. They feel that national party will be given importance and they will win the elections once you conduct parliament elections as well as state legislature elections. There may be some, it may be, we cannot prove that. Many elections we have seen that when MLA elections or MPs election, that is elections for the state legislatures and parliament happens, there are some states, there are many states, many times it has proven that state elections they have selected state legislatures, they have elected one party, and for the parliament they have elected another party. There are things, and people are very well aware of that what is happening, and they are definitely, they differentiate whom they have to vote. Another thing is, once one nation one election comes, the leaders and the media all can take the responsibility of educating on these elections. You can educate the public. Definitely it is possible. Now our country has crossed certain those illiteracy levels. Definitely people are well educated now, they can understand, and once we start educating the people, it will not be a regional parties also need not worry for that. So by seeing this, you can say that this one election, one nation, one election concept would be a great benefit for the nation once it is implemented. And we will see that there are many changes are required. You can say that constitutionally there are some amendments are necessary. Definitely that process can be taken up. You need, for any constitutional amendment, you need two-thirds of Loksabha and two-thirds of voting in Lok Sabha as well as in Rajya Sabha, both the houses of parliament. You need two-third majority to bring any amendment to the constitution, and some amendments requires 50% of the state legislatures as well. So that is also possible once once you start the process. Definitely it can be taken up. It's not a big deal, because very well can be implemented in the nation of in the interest of the nation. So what is, there is a lot of people have prescribed there what is the modus operandi, how it can be implemented, because there are state assemblies are ending in different period. Lok Sabha elections are coming in next year May, some elections are state elections are coming this year, thereafter some more elections are coming in some other states. Definitely this synchronization can be done, it is not a big deal. You can see there are certain requirements, there are certain actions has to be taken to implement this process. There you need to extend some assemblies, timing of certain some assemblies, you need to curtail some period in case of some states, and you can use president's rule for some period, and so that you can bring it. And even you can say that without curtailing, without imposing president's rule also you can bring in, so that bring in. For that, you can say that whatever elections are going to happen, you can take suppose recently happened elections, which is Gujarat or Himachal. You can say Karnataka has happened recently 3 4 months back. You can take this as a benchmark. Next 4.5 years it will be there. Whatever elections happen in that, this is going to be the next 4.5 years. You can say that election, that assembly is going to be in power next till the period is over in Karnataka. Till that time, any elections happen, respect to remaining period will be they will be in force, and thereafter fresh elections can be happening. So that you can say that latest election Karnataka assembly you can take. All other elections whatever happened till the Karnataka assembly gets over, till that time this election, this other assemblies or parliament elections which are happening, that can continue up to that period alone. So that can be done. Or there are many options which are possible. Definitely it is not. So that by 4 years time, if you follow this formula, by 4.5 years time, that is the Karnataka government, the Karnataka assembly be in force. Till that time, all elections will happen. From that time onwards, you can say you can fix the term for assemblies as well as parliament 5 years period, and you can take it up. If anything, any state government dissolution happens or collapsed because of the majority, you can say that any other election happened for to restore that, for whatever assembly is getting elected thereafter, the remaining period it will continue, not the full 5 years. Suppose for example one assembly has got dissolved thereafter, after 1.5 years. So there is a 3.5 years time is there. Once fresh elections happens to that assembly, the newly elected assembly can continue up to 3.5 years, not 5 years. So 3.5 years will go over. All central parliamentary elections, other state government elections can come, and at a time it can be conducted. So there are various options it can be done. It is not that it is only a matter of alignment for all the political parties, all the state governments and central government can sit, all the expert can sit, various modalities they can work out, and they can implement this in the interest of the nation. So this is what cost saving as well as social fabric development of the country, and it's going to be a very fast track of development. I would, in my opinion, one election, one nation, and one election will bring lot of transformation in the country, especially in the development of this nation. Somehow it has to be taken up. I think all political parties will come forward and they will give their opinions, and they will, I think everything will get sorted out. We hope that this can be taken up in the next session, special session of parliament. So it is going to do lot of good for the nation. So I hope that this will happen shortly, and hope you liked this video. Thank you very much.